So this is the new way that I make these slides. I find it a lot easier. I just add a mesh circle and go into edit mode. And all I'll do is just take the top here, these vertices, and delete them. Now this is the basic shape for your slide. You can scale this thing wider if you'd like, or taller if you want taller walls. I found that taller walls help you stay in the tube or the slide. You can get going really fast, and the car will use the top part to not eject out of the slide. But I'll usually just make the slide like this and then later come back to Blender and maybe drag a wall up higher. Now what you can do is turn this on here, proportional editing, and what this will do is once you go to move one of these vertices, you have this circle of influence. You won't see this circle of influence unless you are either scaling, moving, or rotating something, then you'll see it. Then you can use page up, page down to adjust the amount of influence that has. I did this to kind of shape the bottom a little. Then scale this a little wider. I mean, this is just all personal preference, how you want the slide to be. I'd rather it kind of keep the car in a little by having the walls kind of inward a little bit. Like you see at the top, they're kind of concaved in a little. But that's basically it. That is basically your slide. And then you more or less go into this next option called Extrude Region. And then you hit A to select all. Now what I do when I do this is I pick X, Y, Z. That way I can be sure that when I extrude, it's going in one direction, straight up, and not cockeyed to some crazy side, which it's not doing yet, but it's easier to just specify exactly where you want to go. And then you have to decide how long do you want the slide or the segment of a slide to be. So I'll just start and drag this up to this point. So now we have here basically something that will not bend. So we just need to add loop cuts. And you only need to add one to start with. I'll put one there. And then you get this option down at the bottom. And then I'll increase this. This is where your flexibility comes in. Think of like a straw. Kind of you can bend. It's got the little ridges on it and things. So that's how you can think of that. Next thing I'll do, I'll hit A, I'll rotate the entire thing. I'll hold Control as I rotate to lock, 90 degrees. But you can move this wherever you want to move it. You can have it started off like this. It's up to you, however you do that. Now I'll show you a couple ways you can bend this thing. One may be a little more, how did I get crooked? I sure am, look at that, I'm crooked. It's alright. It doesn't matter. There are no mistakes in Blender. Everything can work out to be a piece of artwork. That's not true. No, there are plenty of mistakes. I make plenty. Now when you select things with this select tool, if you are not using X-ray, what's going to happen when you pick one side, it's not going to pick everything through and through. When you go to move things, you're just like, what the hell? So what I do, if I want to select everything, I'll just pick X-ray. I also prefer to use the lasso and hold down the left mouse button to get the lasso. And one day I will remember I have these shortcut keys I can turn on. Always forgetting to turn this on. this shows you what I'm pressing. The only thing it doesn't show you, and I don't like, is that if I say G to move, but then I say only move along the Z axis, it doesn't show you that Z press or that Y press or X press. So that's why I'm not really crazy about using it, but it does show you most of them. So with proportional editing on, you turn it off, you can see what it does. You turn it on, and you see a little circle. As you increase this, that's where you start moving things, making things, your slide or whatever you want to make. You can do this with a tube also. Now the other way you can move, or not move, I mean bend, twist, rotate, is you can go back to object mode. You can also hit tab to get back and forth between the two. Just remember, whatever you're tabbing between is what is selected. Like if you have multiple objects and whichever one's selected when you hit tab is the one that you'll be editing. And it's possible to edit multiple things at one time. But back to object mode, we'll add a mesh circle. I'll just scale it so you can see it a little better. Now the next thing, I'll pick this, and then here in the modifiers, I will say simple deform. Not on the circle, on the slide. Simple deform. Alright, so what I have to do is, the origin will be the circle. Now you got twist, bend, taper, stretch, and you got the different axes that you can bend it on. So as you can see, this is kind of making this type of shape here. But if I start to move the circle, you see it starts to shape the segment here. This is amazing for making actual tracks. And this is actually the technique I'm going to use when I make the track for the space track. It's really easy to use, I feel, and it's not difficult to do. Now you can also rotate this different ways for different outcomes, depending on the way it's rotated, whether it's along the Z, X, or Y axis. You can do some pretty amazing things with it. You can't see it, but it's rotating clockwise and counterclockwise at that point. You also have bend. This is really useful for making loops. It takes me a while sometimes to remember exactly how I did like a loop, for example. I always get it backwards. I'll have to do a loop in a little while or another time, but I was just going to show you basically how to do, let me just back up. Let me put this back straight. Which reminds me, I reinstalled the latest update, Blender and system here. I like to have more than 32 undos. I like to have at least 100. Sometimes I'll get to making something and I'll realize, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to go back and redo this. So don't know that I can get that back perfect. You can also hold down Shift when you're rotating and moving it for finer movement. I'm just going to center this thing here, set the origin. Alright, add another circle, mesh circle. That's what I'm going to do. And this one I'm going to make a loop. Simple deform, bend, angle. Uh, That is inside out though. Turn off X-ray. Yeah, I don't think nobody's going to be able to stay on the outside of that. And then you can oh, I didn't even have the damn circle selected. I was wondering what was going on. You got to select origin. You got to select whatever it is you want to bend to if you're wanting to use it in that way. This is the part I was saying I oftentimes forget which way I got to have the thing, because it depends on where the circle's rotated. Depends on how it bends it. Like this way would be different than this way, for example. Give me a minute. It's like I said, I always forget when I do this which way is the right way. One way you can make a loop that way, and the other way it's like, you know, vertically. But I forget, is it the loop's got to be this way, or is it got to be this way? That's the way. So to make a loop, that would be the orientation for that circle that you created, where you just go to add mesh circle. And that circle is the origin for doing the add modifier of bend, or I'm sorry, simple deform. So this is just one way you can make different track segments, whether it be tracks or water slides or whatever. Now to make something a loop, to be able to enter it with a car, you have to have a way to get into it. So once you get your loop, you can rotate this again to offset it just a tad, however much you want to offset it, like so. Now you have a way you can enter and exit it. That's a pretty big loop though. I don't think anything can make it around that. Now what I'm going to do is pick the edge here in edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and apply this simple deform modifier. Well, not in edit mode. You can't in edit mode. You got to be in object mode. Okay, back to edit mode. Select these here, and I'm going to extrude them out. And once again, I'll use the XYZ. That way I can just shoot this thing down. Like that. It's kind of, you know what this reminds me of? When I was a kid, we had these little race cars, these little Matchbox cars, and we had these like little real flexible track pieces that you could make all these different crazy contraptions, like coming off the edge of a dresser and going onto the bed and doing a loop, and them things are pretty fun to mess with. And they use gravity, you know, is all they use for acceleration. They didn't have like any electricity or anything going through it like a regular car racetrack. I see them a little crooked right there. So this is what my water cooler has been, I just got a notification. My new CPU cooler has been picked up. I wanted to get this video out because I know the guy's been asking for it for a few days, and I said, well, let me do this before I install my CPU cooler in case I kill my computer in the process. At least this video will be out there. Now this side I got to do the same thing because it's a little crooked. Even though I used this to extrude it, it still wasn't exactly lined up. So I'm just going to back out and just move this a bit, see if I can get it more straight. Damn, it's still off, ain't it? There we go. As long as they're still selected at the other end, you can still hit G to move. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. All right, see how this isn't quite. So what I'm going to do is back up, grab this, then I get back up close where I can see what I'm doing. Hit G to move and just straighten that up a little bit, just like that. Now I did not import in a car like I usually do, so let me do that real quick. I just import in a collider. You can get your own collider pretty easily too. I'll show you real quick if you want to get your own car into the game. Where your game is installed in the Steam library, your Steam apps, Common, Beam, in G Drive, in Content, Vehicles, and pick you a car. Just extract it onto the desktop, I like the pickup truck personally. So you can pick anything you want, extract it, and basically you import in the DAE from that folder of the vehicle, which would be, there's a lot of stuff in here, but should only be like one DAE in here. Maybe there's 2 or 3 depending on the different parts that go with that car, but that's the main car there. You would just import that in the Blender. Now I had to go through the additional steps to delete everything but just the shell of the car, because I didn't need every part of the car. I just needed something just to give me a quick reference. And in this case, it's the car. And the car actually let me know that my loop is upside down. So I should rotate the thing around 180 degrees and move it. Yeah, I guess somehow I got twisted all around. I was upside down. So this truck, you can see by the scale, this will be the size of the ramp. And this is where you make your decisions, how big you want the ramp to be for you, or track, or slide, or whatever you're making. Oh, I closed my chat window. Not that anybody's watching, but you never know. Some people may be up early too. And I don't do many of these, and I'm not good at doing these. I am not the best person to talk and do things at the same time, but I'm never going to get better at it unless I make myself do it more. So I think we're pretty much done with this thing. Just need to give it a texture. I'm not going to assign a material to it. I'm not creative in that way to know what really looks good on stuff like this. I just give it like a simple color. I'm just going to, oh yeah, I can get rid of this truck now. I'm going to give this slide the texture. I'm going to call it just tube. And we're done with the circle. Don't need the camera. And the origin point, let me set this to the 3D cursor. Now a little orange dot appeared down there, and plow transforms, and now I've got to go to the folder that we'll put the slide in. So that folder will be, where's my, no, there it is, hiding back there. Levels, small grid, art. That's where I like to put my things, in the art folder. So I already have a folder I created yesterday for the other various tubes, and I already made a main materials file for it. But I just suggest you just copy this one from mine and just reuse it. It's the easiest way to do it. This one's already set to be like a green color, and it's going to know that if you name yours tube with lowercase t, then that texture will work for you. So as long as I export that tube into here, it'll use that materials file as long as the textures match, which it does. I named it the same thing. Then when I load small grid, import in from the asset browser, just navigate to the tube folder. It'll be there. Just have to rebuild collisions and set the collision. Back to Blender, export, collider. So png.24.level small grid art tube, and this will be tube number 3. Export collider. Now to the game. I love this Windows 11, man. I love how it does these windows. It just makes it easier to position things, move them, get them where you want them. You don't have to spend forever trying to drag little boxes around to get it exactly right. It has like a lock, auto lock kind of deal to it. F11, it's possible you don't have a small grid you want to save to. All you have to do to have a user folder for small grid like I do is just load small grid, hit F11, go to File, Save Level. That will create the folder. Or for any level that you load that's a developer map. Just remember that level by itself, that folder is just basically a companion for the developer's zipped up level. Basically, any changes you do to a level, it'll save in the user folder. But you probably already know that if you're watching this. And so here are the tubes that I made. This is the latest one. And something is not right. What do you think it is? Well, I can pretty much tell you that the normals are flipped. They're inside out, possibly. Let's go back to Blender. I didn't check it. I should have. So do this. Go to these two balls, hit this thing, and say face orientation. So if you see red, then you're dead. No, if you see red, it's going to eat the car. Blue is the surface that you drive on. So all you do to fix it, just go to edit mode, hit A to select all, or only select the ones that are red if not all of them are red. Sometimes you can have different normals, flip different ways. Just go to mesh, normals, flip. File, export collider. Collider. Is it collider? Collider? I don't know. See, problem fixed. Now, you're like, well, damn, I don't like that. It's no problem. You can fix that too. You can turn that off. Face tray orientation off. And then select the object, say object shade smooth, and then re-export. Fixed. And then just rebuild your collisions. Rebuild collisions. Now you can successfully place your vehicle in the tube. Oh, I forgot. I keep forgetting about the chat thing. So we're going to get a good running start. What happened here? Oh. I realize this is in the ground a little bit. You can also tell your texture to be double-sided. I don't think this is double-sided. Now it is. Now we can see the back side of it. Move the player. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I moved it. I rebuild collisions. Oh, yeah. Dumbass. We forgot. Pick the damn tube. Go to the inspector. Tell collision type, visible mesh final. Rebuild collisions. Let me get my controller. Charging up. Here. Get up here. All right. Who thinks we're gonna make it? Oh yeah, I still got the surface of this thing set to ice. We're not gonna get much speed this way. That's for sure. So we change this ground model back to something that has some traction. So with the tube selected in the material editor, down here in additional info, and change this to, I'm not sure which one of these are better. Prepped, I would think would be good, but who knows. Just rebuild the collisions for the new ground model to take effect. And off to the races you go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a betting man. I don't bet very often unless I think I'm going to win. And I probably would put maybe 10% odds at making it around this loop with this truck. 10%, maybe 15. Yeah, we did make it, but it was a damn good effort. Damn good effort, I have to say. A damn good effort. Now this other crazy idea, like what if you just took the tube, right? Right. We went to the end of the tube where the end of it is, and we went to edit mode. And then we just took this end here, and what if we said shrink, flatten, or no, fatten, not flatten, fatten, fatten, and do something like this, right? So as it gets closer to here, it gets more narrow. I don't know if people like making them car crash videos. You have a whole lot of cars headed to the loop, and then there's a wedge. It's like where they all just kind of come together and crash. Whoever gets there first is the lucky person. So export this back to game. Export to 3. And of course, we got to rebuild collisions. Now we still have the collisions set from the other thing. Thank you. Time they open, Tim?
Who?
Best Buy.
Yeah.
Okay, because they had to text me before they opened. I guess they had people already in there working.
I don't know, but there was a woman in there and everything that did all that. I showed her the thing. She said, "Can you click on that link?" I said, "No, I can't. My husband just sent this as a screenshot." So we went through whatever. She was nice. Oh, she wanted me to do a survey that's in here. And she says, "I think it's so neat and everything when people rebuild their computers and all this stuff, whatever." I said, "I hate it." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You want something and everything to..."
That damn thing ain't gonna fit. That's taller than my case. Unless the box is bigger.
The box is probably bigger.
Yeah, well, we can take it back and get the other one if we have to. I'll set the son bitch on the top if I have to, on top of my case.
I don't give a shit what you do and everything. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere else again. I'm done. I'm tired.
All right. Thank you. Damn shitty case is damn too small for this fan. This 3. I got what is this? Corsair H150i Elite Capitalist. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this box is just too big. I'm not worrying about this right now. Let me get this thing finished here. What I'm working on here. So this is our new tube. We'll rebuild collisions. And this is pretty much the last thing I was going on. Live stream was this here. So let's bring our car back. Let's rebuild our, I already rebuilt the collisions. Let me get a different car. Let's get something with some speed. Something that's got some speed that will stay on the track. No, it's like the faster they go, the more they fishtail. I'm not a car expert or anything. Definitely not an expert at cars. I don't understand a lot of stuff about them. I'm going to post this link to I'm going to upload this new tube also for anybody that wants it. Now, I'm a betting person. I'd say we got about 80% chance to successfully make it around this thing if I can stay in the damn loop. Oh, Lordy. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was robbed of that victory. Robbed of it. You can always get a little extra help by simply rotating this thing up like this. Now you're getting a head start. You got a damn good chance of getting around it. I could have also, in Blender, I could have also just done this where, since I added this add-on, I can put a loop cut here, make several of them. That way I can then select, say, these, move these up, and done something like that. That's possible too. You could have done that. A lot of options. A lot of options. Or I could say, you know what? This damn thing needs to be just a tad bit wider. So if you ever clip out of view you ever look really large object, just go to view and increase this end distance. This is especially something I had to do when I made the outer space track, because stuff like 150,000 whatever measurement across, you would never see the end of what you're working on. So I just hit A. If I wanted to like stretch this thing along the x-axis to make it wider, I could. Probably what you'd have to do with this particular loop. May not be enough. Also, may not be enough loop cuts in the circle part for smooth. When I first made all these loop cuts, when you saw me increase that to 100, I could have put 200. It would have made it even smoother. I know that other people have talked about things like ramps and things not being smooth enough, and that's just surface geometry. You need more geometry to make something smooth, or better suspension, either or. All right, we rebuilt our collisions. Now we'll go up here. I got the wrong end. I might have the wrong end up in there. No, that's the right end, I think. Now, I put about 95% odds at making it around this thing. Maybe I should have something with bigger tires, like the hopper, not the hopper, the off-road hopper, whatever that one's called, the big wheels. Yeah, see. What a shame. Hey, any of y'all like this thing, let me know. Curious to know if anybody can make it around it. Y'all have a good day. I got to put this water cooler in. The CPU getting too hot. Then I can overclock this on, bitch. Let's see what kind of performance I can get. I ain't been able to overclock since I got it. It just runs too hot. One day it ran so hot it damn turned the computer off. I didn't know what happened. Then I realized, oh shit, I accidentally overclocked my computer. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to turn on the XMP in the BIOS and actually turned on the overclock genie. Got a hell of a lot better beam score though. It shot the beam score up like 60 extra points. So it does make a difference having more CPU. Y'all have a great day, and I hope this video answered the questions pertaining to editing loops. We'll see y'all soon. Hey, I see a comment. Hey, I got somebody come to visit. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to post this thing, and I got to put this water cooler in. So we'll catch you soon, man. Thank you for stopping by.